stop for now. However, there is a bit of a wind starting to pick up here. But the actual rain itself didn't last very long, which is fortunate for our rowers here. I believe we are... Oh, no, never mind. Thought we had alignment. Attempting to get these singles aligned and ready, positioned down the course so that they won't have to make any major adjustments as they attempt to push their way through this race. Once again, it is the top 3 of this race who will move on to the final, which I believe will take place tomorrow. Still waiting on the course, or the officials to get them all aligned and ready to send down the course. We have alignment. And the race is off, ladies and gentlemen. This, the first heat in the women's novice single, coming down the course now. A very good start from all contenders. As they push ahead. From my angle, it appears that Long Beach has pulled a decent lead here, though it seems like, I believe that is one of the Tempe Juniors teams has pulled themselves.
I wanted to show you.
Can you leave it here?
I can. I have to put it up for Philip wanted you to have this information.
Can you just write this down for me?
This is for 6 p.m.
Yeah. So yeah, these crews coming down the line here. One of the Tempe Juniors boats seem to be pulling themselves quite ahead of the rest of the pack. Long Beach doing what they can to try to get themselves ahead, but it seems like the Tempe Juniors rower is doing what she can to keep everybody off of her. Long Beach trying to pull themselves ahead here.
There you go.
Thank you. Again, Long Beach seeming to have a bit of a lead, not a very strong one at the moment. I think the Tempe Juniors crew actually does have a bit of a lead over the Long Beach crew, but we'll have to see as we push down the course, approaching 850 meters to go. It's still anybody's race at this point. It looks like the crews are very, very close together. Anybody could pull this off at this point. Bit of a problem with some dinghies going up the side of the course there. But the racers are all doing what they can to navigate around that quite effectively, and the officials are doing what they can to keep our rowers safe. Actually, I think that might actually be the CYC rower there who's pulling into that lead. Not quite sure. Some difficulty seeing their rowers. But it looks like Long Beach still holding a very a decent lead here from this angle. But it looks like CYC and I believe that's Tempe Town Lake as well seem to be no, I believe that's actually Row LA. So Long Beach, Row LA, and I believe that's CYC have the lead here, moving into the 850 meters mark, pushing in towards pushing towards 500 meters to go. Bit of a correction here. I believe that is actually a Tempe Town juniors pulling into the lead there. Long Beach and I believe it's Row LA. Those appear to be the top three at the moment. Again, as we said before, this is a two-heat race, so the first three go into the finals. So it looks like there's a Tempe Town Junior, Row LA, and Long Beach in the lead here. It's still anybody's race, though. Either of the remaining two crews could pull it out now if they just start really powering up, doing what they can to try to get themselves back into this race. But at the moment, as we pass 500 meters, it definitely appears like the Tempe Town Juniors racer has the lead here. The Long Beach and the goodness gracious, the Long Beach and the Row LA competing for that second position there. However, as we said before, top three go into the final here. As we patch my desk, meaning that we're at the last 250 or so meters to go, the Tempe Town Juniors rower, multiple open boats ahead of Row LA and Long Beach Junior crew. CYC and the other Tempe Town Junior rower significantly behind the pack. As we're pushing into the last 50 meters or so, very spread out race here. It definitely appears that the Tempe Town Junior rower will be the first one to cross the line, Row LA being the second, and the Long Beach almost definitely will be the third, meaning that all three of them will move on to the final. Oh, there's my Tempe Town. Apologies, I realized I was looking at the wrong... Oh, never mind. No, it wasn't. Yeah, that might actually be the Tempe Town Lake rower, not the Tempe Town Junior. I apologize for that. With that race completed in about, a minute ago, we will be getting the second heat for this race. In that heat, lane 1, Row LA. Lane 2, Tempe Town Lake. Lane 3, Tempe Town Junior. Lane 4, CYC. Lane 5, Tempe Town Junior. Lane 6, Long Beach Junior crew. I believe that race may actually already be underway here. And it is, by the looks, with what appears to be the Tempe Town Lake rower pulling a bit of an early lead here. Yeah, it appears that the Tempe Town Lake rower does have a bit of a lead here over the rest of the field. Though, this is as we approach the 850 meters to go, so it's still anybody's race. Anything could happen here, particularly since it doesn't seem that there's that much of a lead, so anything can happen. From what I'm looking at, actually, it appears that the Tempe Town Lake, CYC, and Long Beach Junior Crew are the three contenders here for these top three positions. Although, again, as I said, we've just passed 850 or so meters to go. Anything is possible as we approach 500 meters left. Anything can happen. If any of these crews start to really power up, they can definitely take the lead here. It's just a matter of who's going to push it, who's going to take the who's going to put the energy in. The Row LA rower seems to be pulling it up on the Tempe Town Lake one. She appears to be really pushing it up, really pulling herself ahead. Meanwhile, CYC and Long Beach. However, the Long Beach rower having some problems on those rocks there, having to do some stuff, powering up on starboard a bit so she can get away from those rocks so she doesn't run into it. That's going to be a bit of a problem for her because she's not really rowing as hard with her port oar, meaning that she's going to be losing a decent amount of power that she would have normally on these strokes, which is pulling her behind a little bit. The CYC rower, the Tempe Town Lake rower, and the Row LA rower all seem to be the top three contenders at the moment, and we'll see if they can actually hold that out for the remaining time as we pass the 500 meters to go mark. The rowers are slowly beginning to approach my tent, which would indicate that they have about 250 meters left to go. As they do, it appears that the CYC rower does still have that commanding lead. However, the rower for Row LA is starting to really pull it up here. She may be able to pull it past CYC if she really starts putting it in now. 250 or so meters left to go. She can definitely put that energy in. She could definitely pass the remaining two rowers if she started to really put it in here. And there she goes. She's pulling up. She's pulling past the rower for CYC. So, at the moment, it appears the top three are Row LA, Tempe Town Lake, and CYC. How Long Beach and Tempe Town Juniors both lagging behind slightly here. Again, as I said, top three will move on to the final here. And by the looks of it, if this stays the way it is, it will be the CYC rower, the rower for Tempe Town Lake, and the rower for Row LA. Unless something happens within these last 100 or so meters. Last 50 or so meters to go for the front runners, and it doesn't appear that there's going to be any kind of change in terms of who's going to be moving on to the final here. So, with that said, the remaining rowers will do what they can to get themselves back as quick as they can. In about 3 minutes' time, the next race will begin. That will be the men's freshman 8 final. That will be in lane 1, Newport Aquatic Center. In lane 2, Long Beach Junior Crew. In lane 3, Pacific. In lane 4, San Diego Crew, San Diego. In lane 5, Marin, and in lane 6, Marina. Once again, we are about ready to begin the final for the men's freshman 8. That will be in lane 1, Newport Aquatic Center. In lane 2, Long Beach Junior Crew. In lane 3, Pacific. In lane 4,